What are those, Dan? What are those? So remember how I made that hair care video and I said I was taking care of my hair and like not trying to damage it? Well, guess what? I bleached it. I'm blonde now. Sort of. I don't know what color this is. We're going for it. Anyways, hello Earthlings, welcome to my channel. I'm Imani. Today I want to talk about that one time that I met Dan and Phil. I got to meet Dan is Not on Fire and amazing Phil. It was incredible. They're so sweet. So, if you know me, you know that my favorite YouTubers of all time are Dan and Phil. If you don't know who Dan and Phil are and you're living underneath a rock, Dan is also known on YouTube as Dan is Not on Fire and Phil is The Amazing Phil. And they're best friends, perhaps lovers, who make videos that are really funny and relatable, and that's probably what I like the most is because they're very relatable. I have existential crises on a regular basis, so Jenna. I went to Vidcon this past summer 2015, and I was lucky enough to actually get to meet Dan and Phil. I went to Vidcon 2014 as well, but unfortunately did not get to meet them, and that was because before Vidcon developed an organized strategy into who gets to go to one meetup, it was pretty much first come first serve. And even though my best friend Tyler and I got to Vidcon 2014, the day of the Dan and Phil meetup at 5 a.m., they already had a full line. Like, they were cutting off lines to meet people by that time because everybody was like camping out and doing crazy stuff. It was so awesome that they developed the kind of, I guess, lottery system. I don't know what they call it. It's like you pick your top 15 or so, I don't remember, YouTubers, and then you submit it, and then by random selection that determines whether or not you get to meet whatever YouTuber. My top ones were obviously like Dan and Phil was number one on my list, as well as like Jenna Marbles and Andrea and many others that I can't even think of right now, but number one priority was Dan and Phil. So in the end I got 3 wristbands, one to meet Dan and Phil, one to meet Troye Sivan, and the other to meet Andrea's choice. So I was pumped, I was happy, I had like everything in the bag, I just got really lucky. I should probably play the lottery or something. But since my best friend didn't get to meet his favorite YouTuber, VidCon 2014, I gave him my Troye Sivan wristband so that he could trade this other girl who had a Jen McAllister wristband, and he got to meet her, which was his lifelong dream, so it was worth it. Maybe one day I'll get to meet Troy. But I got to meet my priorities, which were Dan and Phil and Andrea, so it's all good. I'm not the type of person that really fangirls or like cries or freaks out. Like, I'm just a really big fan. It was such a great experience to meet them. I wish that we actually, you know, got to talk to them for more than like 30 seconds. But those 30 seconds, the greatest 30 seconds of my life. And people always ask me like, what did they smell like? I'm like, I don't remember. I was just like so in shock that I forgot to sniff them. As weird as that sounds. I'm pretty sure they smelled clean. I don't know. When I was waiting in line, everybody was really cool and like really chill, which is what I love about Dan and Phil fans. Like, everybody's just really awesome. And I made a couple friends. They were like little kids. Well, they weren't little kids, but they were like in high school. It was my summer before my freshman year of college, but whatever. I felt so old because there was a bunch of like screaming 13-year-olds, but I'm like, I still like Dan and Phil. I don't know. I've been watching their videos for like years, so I guess since I was a screaming 13-year-old girl. So then Dan and Phil came out and everybody just like started screaming their ball sacks off. It was crazy. Oh my god. I'm dead inside right now. It was really exciting though. They're so tall, like so tall. You know they're tall, but like when you actually see them in person, you're all, oh, you're real. Probably sounds stupid, but whatever. So I gave my phone to the girl behind me to film my whole interaction with Dan and Phil, but we were all like so excited that she completely forgot until the very end. So I have footage of me like giving a goodbye hug and then walking away, but that's pretty much it. So you don't get to see like the conversation that I had and blah blah blah. But basically all it was like, hi, how you doing? And then I was like, I'm good. And then I asked them, well, how are you doing? Because, you know, they're awkward. And I bet it's like, I bet it's a lot of pressure to have like all these people meeting you at one time who like know who you are, but you don't know them. You know what I mean? It's weird because it's like, I feel like I know them. I'm like, I know you. And I want to have like a full-on conversation with them. But it was like a really quick hi, how are you doing? Dan complimented my outfit and I was like, oh my god, I am never taking this off. And Phil was really quiet and awkward, which I kind of assumed that's how he was gonna be. I don't know. And like Dan was more talkative, so we had like a short little conversation and I thanked them for being inspiring and relatable and understanding, and I was like, it really does mean a lot that you're here. And they were like, oh, thank you, blah blah blah. That was it. That is it. But it was still like the greatest day of my life, and I walked away like floating on clouds. It was ridiculous, but it was great, and they really are genuinely nice human beings, and I love that. They weren't douchey or anything, just so sweet. One day I want to be their best friend, but for now I'm just going to hide in the shadows as a fangirl and watch all the fandom do their craziness. Fandom's great. Love the fandom. So yeah, that was my experience of meeting Dan and Phil. Meeting Andrea was really awesome too. She's so nice. And I was like, thank you for teaching me how to do my hair. And she's like, oh, you're welcome. That's why I started my channel in the first place. And I was like, yeah. She's so tiny. Dan and Phil are so tall, but Andrea is so tiny. And then the year before that, I did get to meet Tyler Oakley, and Tyler Oakley was really sweet as well. He's so cute. I am glad that I'm fans of like genuinely nice YouTubers and not like douchey YouTubers, because they exist. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you want any more videos about like how to survive VidCon or like my entire VidCon experience or something like that, just since I went 2 years in a row, just let me know. Be happy to do that for you. Also, been reading the Dan and Phil book, so if you want me to do a Dan and Phil book review, I totally will. I don't mind at all. Or anything YouTube related, pretty much anything. Just leave me suggestions in the comments. You could like this video. Go follow me on Instagram. Subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to put out videos weekly. Sometimes it's bi-weekly. I am a college student, okay? Have a wonderful day. Now it's time to dance it out.